Hard to believe that I'm gonna have to change that intro, uh, probably for next year. We've got some schedule announcements that have come out, and unfortunately, Sunset is not on them. Hopefully, that does mean that it may be just as temporary. Um, but we will get in a conversation with lots of great people here tonight. Thank you for tuning in to ONTrack Weekly. Cam K here on GeForce TV. Want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Cold and snowy, I know, in a lot of areas, and unfortunately, one of our guests was actually going to be um, great guest. We were looking forward to having. Fortunately, he's got to plow, so he's not able to make it out tonight. But great list of people coming on to the show. A little bit of a different look as well. We've got Keaton Pipe and Paul Pierrick's Legend Cars showcasing on the bottom of the screen now. We try and change it around every so often now. We had Morgan Moore and Brody Coates on there for quite a while. So I'm going to welcome in the 2025 Peterborough Speedway late model champion. Ryan Kimball is going to join us in just a second. Then we got Brad Holmes, Sauble Speedway GM, talk about the registration and meeting rules meeting. Mike Beneteau from the Grand Bend 9 horsepower sprint class. John Baker Jr. from the Gen 3 Sports Mods. And Kevin Small with lots of announcements coming out of Flamborough Speedway. We'll talk with Kevin about everything that's happening out at Flamborough Speedway. Lot, actually, that's on their plate so far. They've been announcing a lot of different things. So we will bring on, well, he just disappeared. So hopefully we'll get him back on here. I don't know if he's disappeared shortly, but oh, there he is. He's popped back in. So we'll welcome in Ryan Kimball, your 2025 champion from Peterborough Speedway, to his debut here on the show. And I'm extremely thankful for that, Ryan. Hopefully it's not too snowy out where you are. I'm in the city, so I don't have to deal with all that crap. So hopefully you're keeping warm today.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Today was a little colder than last week. We just got a little bit of a skim of snow there over the weekend, but we never got hit like Aurelia and down in Innisfil and stuff like that. So we're thankful for that.
Definitely would rather be out on the racetrack, and especially you for these last couple of seasons. Pro Late Model Division out at Peterborough Speedway has been yours the last couple of years. And how does it feel, man, getting another championship? You're used to it by now. I mean, you've won quite a bit of them, but how was 2025 as a whole for you?
25 was pretty good. Yeah, like I said, if we go to the first race and things are going good, then we always, tend to keep going back. And it was one of those things that we were ever since we left APC, we decided to go back to Peterborough, and I think we've been 3 for championships. Feels pretty good, but in the middle of the season, I ended up buying a dirt car. So 2026 is up in the air regarding, if we're going to do a full schedule. I mean, I'm leaning more or less to see if you can keep going for 4 or whatnot. But just like I said, McCaddy and myself, we always have really good battles and stuff like that. And just starting to lean over to this dirt stuff and actually really enjoying it. So want to, learn that. And like I said, do the odd APC race and go from there, right?
It is one of those things that racers always like to find something new and exciting. I mean, getting out there and trying the dirt. Is there plans to eventually go to a full-time deal? Are you going to go run Oshweekend Speedway? Because we know you're just getting started, just getting your feet wet in the dirt. But man, the posts that you put out there, it just shows the excitement level and just the fun that you've been having out on the dirt.
Yeah, no, I actually wish I bought the dirt car maybe like 10 years ago. And like I said, most people's schedule is like, 8 to 10 races. And I mean, I bought that car pretty late, very late in the season. And I mean, I took it everywhere. I mean, I was able to get 8 races in, just as much as, a regular APC tour or even a Peterborough tour, right? So like I said, I got that car real late and able to do, I think, yeah, 7 or 8 races, went to Oswego. Had a good run, had a fun run, and learning the car and whatnot. And like I said, it's I got the whole thing stripped right now, so hopefully we can learn to get it a little bit quicker. And no, I really enjoy it. It's a really cool series. There's lots of cars. There's, like I said, we get like 27 to 28 cars there, and 15 to 16 really good cars that can win every night, right? So it's really cool.
It's a different experience as well. I mean, asphalt racing is one thing, dirt racing is a completely different animal. How well do you think you transition from the pavement to the dirt? Is there any somewhat similarities, or is it a completely different driving style?
In all honesty, like I said, I ended up, taking a liking. I talked to the 49 Bailey there,
Yeah.
or not Bailey. Is that his name?
Yeah, Dave
40.
Bailey. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Bailey. And like I said, he really helped me out and stuff like that, and making it. He basically said to just set it up like an asphalt car. Little different for us. We try to go do something and it doesn't work or whatnot. But no, like I said, it's a lot of fun. Um, the driving thing, I think I adapted to that pretty quick. It was more or less the dirt getting everywhere and my hauler and this and that. I'm a pretty clean freak, right? So
Yeah.
everything in my hauler, my toolbox and stuff is pretty clean. So that was a bit of a different transition. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Would you recommend everybody go out there and try a dirt race? It seems like something that a lot of the asphalt guys have been getting into, and really Corey McAllister is another example of somebody who did it last year and absolutely loved it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And I mean, like I would always want to have a late model, but I mean a late model dirt car, they don't get the car counts as like
Yeah.
this Thunderstock. This Thunderstock thing is, yeah, you can still get brand new cars for like 50, 55,000, but I mean, I bought a car for 15,000, was able to race it 7 times, have a great time. And like I said, $15,000. What I mean, it's pretty good fun, right? And like I said, the series is it's unbelievable. There's so many cars that could win every night, and you start 15th, and a win is to get up to 13th, right? And guys that make the invert or whatnot and run third to first, it's very very hard to pass. It's actually harder to pass on dirt at Brighton than it is in at Peterborough Speedway. So it's pretty wild.
You know what? It seems that way. It seems like that's what it comes down to. Is that you're seeing a lot of the good guys out there that are just dominant in the dirt, and it is a lot tougher for the if you're in the middle of the pack to the back of the pack to find your way up through the field. It's not like those asphalt races where if you start in ninth, 10th place, all of a sudden by lap two you're in second.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I've starting to get into as well. I mean, I arguably am not a dirt guy, never have been, but thanks to G4 TV and thanks to the Oshweekend Speedway broadcast, it is one of those things that it's easy to get hooked to because it is completely different driving style. Ryan, getting into it a little bit more full time, potentially doing a couple more starts. Any chances of you going down south and trying some dirt racing out there, or are you going to stick mainly to Ontario?
I'm probably going to just stick mainly to Ontario, obviously, just because I have the late model program. I mean,
Yeah.
late model program technically for the sponsors and whatnot. That's the bread and butter, right? So, I mean, that's where the main sponsors want to see us. So that's what we do, right? I mean, like I said, the dirt is just more or less fun. We just go. It doesn't matter where we finish. I mean, we like to win, doesn't? I mean, that's not a given. And I mean, it just we push to be better and whatnot. But like right now, obviously the late mall stuff, right? I mean, we just keep driving every time, load the race car, load the late mall. We're there to try to win, right? But
It's definitely one of those things that in motorsports it is a give and take. You got to battle one week with somebody and try to do better the next week, and but you're always at the risk of mechanical failures and equipment. In your experience, did you find the dirt is harder on equipment or is the asphalt harder on equipment?
actually, in all honesty, like I said, with the 7 starts that we did with the dirt, we never had one mechanical issue. And I mean, that was with even buying the car, going through it to an extent, not necessarily know what even we're really looking for, right? I mean, it's a totally different ball game, right? Just with front geometry and leaf springs and whatnot. But I mean, our asphalt stuff's usually prepared pretty well. I mean, we've probably run 6, 7 years and no mechanical issues. We just seem to have a couple mechanical issues this year, and a real unfortunate one at the ACC that took us out with a really good race car with a potential win, or at least I believe we had a second place very very easily, but it just power steering belt, man. I mean, it's a 10-second piece that just came apart, right? So it's one of those things you gotta have a bad day to appreciate the good ones.
I'm not sure if J.R. Fitzpatrick is referring to me or you, but he says you need to get some brown dirt in that beard young fella looking gray. So unfortunately, we both kind of are sporting some grays right now. JR is somebody that I want to see do a little bit more dirt racing as well.
Yeah, no, like I said, JR and I have had our battles over the year, and I mean, got a ton of respect for JR. I mean, he's like I said, I respect JR just by what he's done and what he's accomplished over the years, and he keeps pushing himself. He left APC pretty much similar to us. Not because we can't do it.
Yeah.
We just choose to do some different stuff, and I'm a guy that just says it the way it is, and there seems to be a lot of politics behind the series, and I believe, a lot of the good guys left like 3, 4 years ago, like, your Priticos, your JRs, and, your Danny Benedicts last year or whatnot, and us and whatnot. So just, yeah, like I said, anytime we've raced with JR, it's been some heated battles and whatnot, but he picked up our super there a couple years ago, and he's been pretty much dominant with it ever since. So
I'm glad JR confirmed it is for you. He's talking about your grays. So there we go. Perfect.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Ryan, thank you so much, buddy, for coming on the show. It's been a while since I've been trying to get you on. It just work schedules
Yeah,
don't align. So
yeah,
a
no, I
big
appreciate that.
big congrats on the championship, and you know that we'll be following you all next season. And the beautiful Leuna colors, man. That car, man, looks fantastic on the asphalt. I'd like to see it on the dirt as well. That'd be kind
Yeah.
of cool to see the Leuna number 16 on the dirt. But which dirt tracks will we see you at next year?
We'll definitely be at Brighton. Like I said, it's only like 40 minutes away. We'll probably go down to Cornwall. It's actually a nicer haul. It's a little further, 3 hours or 4 hours or
Right.
whatever, but it's an easy haul. We did the Oswego haul there on the Friday night, and that was the traffic was crazy, right? But I
Yeah.
would be there if I was a half an hour to an hour from that place. I'd be there every Friday. They would a beautiful facility. Great car counts
Yeah.
and a wicked tractor race. I mean, you can run high, low. Like I said, we started 27th, like there's something or 20 or whatever it was, and worked our way up to like 8th, like really, really. But then the car I fought really loose, and then it just faded back to like I think 12th or so. But like I said, it just a blast. And you can go 4 wide, 3 wide with guys with no radios and whatnot. I mean, some of these late model guys I barely trust driving beside a few of them, even with radios, right?
Yeah, it's the sad part of it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost like if you want to go asphalt racing, you should probably do dirt first, so you know how to
Oh,
race without mirrors.
no,
Honestly, and race without
100%.
spotters. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I mean, guys like myself and even JR and whatnot, we've all come through. Like we started in Thunder cars. I mean, these cars are racing like
Yeah.
your junior late. There's so many divisions now, right? I mean, they got radios and this and that, right? So we all were raised around give an inch and this and that. I mean, it's hard to now with the cars being so close, but I mean, we used to not have radios and mirrors and stuff like that, right? So it's just a different beast.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you. Hopefully, we'll see you actually at the Thunderstock Nationals. That's what I think we need to see out there for this at Oswego for the big
Yeah,
time money, man. That's
I
when we'll
I
see
was
you show up.
I was going to that, but I had a wedding, so I was
Oh
like,
no. Okay.
I messaged
Well.
the guy, I was like, "Hey, man, like, how important?" I was in the wedding, so it's gonna kill me. So yeah, I had to go. So
Well, we've got some big congrats from Jaslyn. Always proud of Mr. Flying Ryan Kimball. And I just want to thank you, Ryan, for coming on and chatting with me tonight. And we'll have you on next year as well.
yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That is Ryan Kimball, your 2025 late model champion out at Peterborough Speedway. Once again, we'll see him on the dirt in 2026. And speaking of 2026, it would not be a conversation without bringing on our friend Brad Holmes, who's coming off of a busy weekend because he was just out doing the Lord's work, and that is trying to organize a racetrack for the 2026 season. And yeah, we'll just say Sauble Speedway, man. Feeling like you guys are a little bit busy for next year, Brad. First off, hopefully your off season's been going well and those negotiations have gone well. First question I was asked was when the hell is the schedule coming out? Because people are pumped, Brad. So Chris Lawrence wanted you to get the schedule details out. So are we going to be able to get that at all or no?
Not tonight. We'll give you a little bit surrounding it, but no, definitely not ready to go. There's a couple of things that still got to fall into place just yet, but I'm sure. I'm sure there's some questions surrounding a couple of the dates that have been popping up here, so I'm happy to answer some questions about those for sure.
Well, if you do have one, get in there and get the comments because I can't see it unless you do comment. But I will put it out there. Brad, big story for you guys. The Ontario Sportsman Series moving their finale back, and it's going to you guys, which is a huge deal. You will get a championship series decider at Sauble Speedway, and in the history of OSS, this is a first. They have never ever held their finale at Sauble Speedway. This has got to be nice to for you and the entire group at Sauble to take ownership of a championship finale like that.
Yeah, it's super cool. Obviously, anybody that's been around has seen kind of the growth OSS has been able to have in the last, 3 to 5 years. And everybody involved in it, from their staff to the drivers to the crew, super respectful everywhere they go. I have yet to hear a bad word about, pit conduct or anything of that nature. So, very, very happy to have their finale at Sauble. We've always had 2 dates with them. Last year with the beach party, kind of moved one away and we couldn't
Yeah.
quite get it sorted out. So, when we decided to add a later weekend in September, it just kind of made perfect sense. So it was an easy deal that Maurizio and I put together. And yeah, it just simply really excited to have a championship battle like that, in a division like that. It's always nice to have.
We do have one question to start us off with, and this is actually a good one because you did have one last year, a 75 lapper. Will we see a Superstock Invitational at some point in 2026?
Yep. We've had a lot of really good conversations with Stewart's Equipment. We're looking to add that race back again. I know it's been a rough go
They
with
kind of had a rough one,
Superstocks
yeah.
at Sauble.
Yeah.
It's no, they've had a rough time trying to get a race in at Sauble. But yeah, we're going to be looking to add that invitational back and attempt it one more time and see if we can't get some Superstock racing at Sauble this summer, hopefully.
I mean, it would appear to be one of the best kind of decisions to do that because, I mean, I'm just saying that's one of the races that got me into watching grassroots racing was the showcase during the COVID. They had Operation Green Flag and Todd Davenport won. I still remember that race to a T. One of my favorite races I've ever seen was Todd winning against Kenny Grubb and Frank Davey, the late Frank Davey, in a amazing race. Parker Traves has a question regarding whether the Legends are going to be returning as a regular division.
Yeah, so we'll have them back again. The track will be INX licensed again. Date wise, still working that out with Robin and Blake. We've the three of us have a really, really good relationship, and try and help each other as much as humanly possible. So once we kind of get the tour dates nailed down, we'll start adding our home track stuff. I can confirm as well we're doing the Legend Shootout once again.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a nice conversation with Craig actually this weekend, and this morning we talked again. So we will definitely be doing the Image Wrap Shootout again, and look forward to having that because it was a really cool event and there was a lot of buzz around it. And just as we continue to do it, it just continues to grow. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing that again.
In terms of buzz, obviously last year we had the 3-3 mini stock invitationals. Brandon Feeney's asking, will we see mini stocks potentially back at the beach this year?
So unconfirmed at the moment. We're trying to maybe put something together similar to what was going on there. I'm not gonna commit 100% tonight to that, but yeah, there's been enough drivers and teams reach out, curious or trying to put something together that. As long as there's interest, I'm happy to do it, and there's definitely some interest there. So not 100% on that just yet, but it is actively being worked on.
One of the things that I'd like to know about, I did ask you on Facebook earlier today because it was pointed out about the street stocks being an option potentially at the end of the season. They were a part of Velocity last year. Obviously, it looks very familiar with the OSS finale kind of being moved. So if that whole weekend is being moved, could there be potential for add-ons for special events this year? I know as a GM you're kind of limited in what you can say because the negotiations still need to happen. But in terms of those end of year events or your special events, are they more flexible or are they pretty solidly booked for right now?
So it depends on how you look at it. You got to remember when you're doing a weekend like that, you're trying to make sure that all your home track stuff gets included as well. You don't want anybody to feel left out. And we've kind of raised the bar in terms of events. So on that weekend, that late September weekend that we're going to take over, you've already got the Cassidy. It's going to move down to that weekend. So we are
Nice.
doing the Cassidy Memorial again, and it'll be on that weekend. So that's a big race moving down to that weekend. As I have conversations with Touring Series, they all raced that one prior and they want to be back on the card for that one. So a lot of moving pieces and a lot of people want to be a part of it, which is awesome. That's a really good problem to have. Just makes scheduling and logistics a little bit of a problem. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not again in the business of saying no to people.
Hmm.
But we have had interest from a lot of different series and a lot of different classes on potentially coming out that weekend. That I'm going to try and include everybody I can, but I'm not. I'm not going to promise that we're going to have 18 divisions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on that weekend because, we have a good relationship with the township. We want to try and keep it that way, and racing at 4 a.m. is not going to do that. So,
No,
um,
definitely not.
yeah. So no, again, it's all about interest, and it seems like there's interest, especially in that street stock deal. So I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. It's the best I can offer you.
Yeah. Andy Kamroff says move Velocity to Sauble and keep the name. Honestly, I'm totally cool with that too. Because it's pretty much sounds. I mean, just the way that you just kind of phrased it is that's weekend you said is moving. So it kind of sounds as if that's the idea behind this. Without officially stating that's the idea behind it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that seems to be when I initially kind of thought that would be a weekend we could slide into. That wasn't the original idea.
Okay.
But as I kind of started putting it together, and like I said, a lot of these touring divisions and series we're already planning to be somewhere that weekend, and it's just kind of naturally working that way, which is good. That's again a
Hmm.
good problem to have, less of a headache for me. It's funny that Andy says that because he maybe had a brother who was saying something like that this weekend.
They're pretty smart guys, eh?
No, I think lots to say about that one, but no. So in terms of the name, I mean, it's been brought to my attention now that maybe we don't go with the name that I had. I don't know. Maybe we'll do something fun around it. I don't know that we'll call it Velocity, but maybe we do a social media vote or something with a couple different names and see what people think. I'll be honest with you, I like Boss of the Beach, and then it's always traditionally been a Sauble weekend, and but it is you're starting something new and we're doing something we've never done before. Maybe it is time to make a change. So
Andy
la,
says,
la,
write it out, keep some heritage. Let's go.
yeah, maybe not a bad idea either. No, we'll have a name for it by the time the schedule comes out. And like I said, maybe we'll do something fun where we put it to the public to see what everybody thinks on a name and do it that way because that could be a fun way to get everybody involved.
I do want to clarify just for those that would be asking because of Velocity was typically a 3-day weekend. Are Friday shows possible at the beach? Do you guys have clearance to run Fridays?
Yeah, so as of the tail end of this year, we got fully rezoned, so there's a lot more leeway in our schedule and a lot more leeway in what
Excellent.
we can do. But yeah, Friday, a Friday show. I'm not going to say multiple. A Friday show is within our
Yes.
wheelhouse now.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Brad, you know what, but we were talking the other day. It sounds like you guys have started some registrations. You had your rules meeting this past weekend. Hold on a second. Lynn Weber says, any chance of seeing Ontario Late Model Association at Sauble next year?
Again, one of those situations where I don't. I'm not going to say definitively yes or no.
Okay.
We do have our own pro late model division that we're trying to build up. So that'll be where the main focus is. But I'm in a business where I never say never.
Absolutely. And of course, there's always the option that if somebody was in OLMA that isn't running that weekend, they can come visit and race at that
Absolutely.
track. You guys are always welcoming new faces, but I will say, by our early counts, you and I kind of went through it. Your bone stock count looks to be through the roof this year. Junior late models looks to be going way up compared to where it has been in the past. Late models potentially also moving up, and then you've got hot rods, which already has some decent counts. So get out there, guys. Register for Sauble Speedway. If you have any questions as well, if you want to get involved as a partner, if you want to be a racer at this track, how can they reach out to you, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to reach us is on our social media pages, as well as directly on our website. There's contact info for who you need to get to. 95% of the time, it'll be me, simply Brad at saublespeedway.ca, and the track phone number's on there. So If you have any questions, if you're looking to get involved, if you want to become a partner, if you just have, generic questions, feel free. My phone's always on to answer questions, and I get to talk about racing all day. So living the dream, no matter what your question is.
And I can say that likewise for getting to host a show on G4 TV. Brad, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight. Have a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
You as well, Cam. Take it easy.
Thank you, bud. It is always nice to chat with Brad, and I hope he answered some of your questions for the beach this year. We're going to go straight into Mike Beneteau because we are, of course, naturally running late here on the show. But that's because we're having good conversation, and that's why we wanted to have somebody from Grand Bend here, because yours truly got to watch a lot of the 9 horsepower sprint cars last year thanks to their live stream. And Mike, man, you guys don't mess around. You put on a damn good show in that division, and a lot of those cars you help make it onto the racetrack. So first off, how was 2025 for you, my friend?
Honestly, it was pretty good. We obviously had somebody else in my card this year, and they ended up coming home with the championship. Well, got to congratulate Carter Nickel on that. So big congratulations on that. Yeah, it was a good year. Can't complain.
He's one of those kids that I tell you, when we talked with him when he was on Stickers and Scuffs years ago, he said Mike Beneteau was his favorite race car driver. And then when we had him on last year, he said, I get to drive a car for my favorite race car driver, and he was on cloud nine. And then in his interview, I believe it was with Kate, he said, I just won a championship for my favorite race car driver, for Mike Beneteau. Talk about an experience, man. As a racer, did you like, this is the thing, do you like a race win more, or as an owner do you like the wins more? Because I've heard it on both sides, man.
Well, honestly, I really thought for sure that it was going to be the other way around, and I was going to like the racing aspect of it more and winning and throwing flags myself. But my God, just being back in the guidelines and watching all the guys do their hard work this year and watching them throw the checkered flags around it, honestly, it was probably bigger sitting back watching that than it was to be waving the flags myself.
This division has taken off just in the last couple of years. It seems like it was a little bit quieter the past couple of seasons, but adding in some fresh blood can do wonders for a division. And you guys have had a lot. Ray Janice coming in, being successful, and Keegan Lamont really came out of nowhere. He seemed to, one weekend it just clicked, and I would expect, Mike, that's kind of similar to a lot of racers at Grand Bend, is that once you kind of get comfortable, then it's like clockwork. You're able to get out there and perform quite rapidly. You've been in this division, you've won in this division. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, exactly. Like once you kind of get in the flow of it and you hit your marks and stuff like that, you're very good about hitting it week after week. Same with, honestly, watching Keegan from the sidelines. Like for the first year I raced with him a couple races, and then last year it was like, wow, where did this kid come from, right? So next year will be interesting when I hop back in a cart and get to slide side by side with that guy.
That's the one thing that's going to be fun about it, is that you're going to be out there once again racing these, all levels. You've got the young racers with Keegan. I think he's 13, 14 years old. And then you've got Carter, 18, 19 years old. And then you have yourself. I'm not going to say how old you are, but what is it like going out there and seeing this division kind of thrive with all different levels of racers?
Well, that's one of the best parts about it, right? Is it's not like there's one person that jumps out and takes control. It's like all these kids have come from other divisions or other racing aspects, and now it's hard to say it, but I'm getting my butt kicked by younger kids. So
Yeah.
as much as you'd like to say, "Oh, darn, that is not the way you wanted it." Actually, it's fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like it's a better transition as well for the kids to come from junior sprints into the 9 horsepower sprints. We routinely see them kind of, kids go into like the mini trucks, or they'll go into the bone stocks or whatever. But this seems like a natural progression because it's a car very similar to the junior sprint, is it not?
Yes. So in reality, it's the same cart.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just kind of, it's stretched out this way and stretched out a little longer so us tall guys can fit into it. Obviously, a bigger motor and stuff like that. But yeah, handling wise, they're very similar. Other than there is a lot more draft with these cars than there is with the junior sprints for sure. And then we get to do that dancing aspect you get to see, right? Where that puts on a show that everybody loves to see. So once there's 10 carts out there next year, just wait to see what you're going to see, right?
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to. Honestly, is I again, I won't go out on the show and lie. I will be straightforward and say I was so ignorant to this division. I thought, oh well, I'm not going to watch Grand Bend racing. It's crap, right? How exciting could it really be? Well, color me impressed because I caught 9 horsepower sprints. I think the last 3 events, uh, made sure I watched and made sure I watched live, mind you.
Yep.
Because the racing was phenomenal. Back and forth, having to set up. You honestly do not know who is going to win the race until not the last lap. Literally, the last corner to the stripe is what it's turning into. And that's what I find so entertaining about this track is that those divisions work so well. Like, I will go out and say, I can't say that the late models and the bigger cars are very fun to watch, but man, these guys, I put 6 of those races on a night, man. That was so much fun to watch. I imagine they're fun to drive, but are they difficult to drive in any aspect, or is it pretty straightforward?
I would say when you're first getting into them, yes, you kind of got to get the feeling because there's no steering boxes, there's nothing, right? It's just heim joints to bolts, and it's kind of just you're fighting the steering wheel constantly until you gain like wrist strength, arm strength. Keegan will tell you that.
Yeah.
I had to tell him to go and grab one of those wrist cups to strengthen up his wrist before he came into the 9 horse division. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's not a crazy division to get into or to feel out. Just once you're in the zone, you definitely get that feel for it better.
When it comes to the contact side of things, I imagine it hurts pretty bad. These cars go 9, obviously they're 9 horsepower, but they still speed around, and you guys have more or less guardrails. It's not so much concrete walls, so I guess that absorbs some of it. But we know that Carter obviously had a massive wreck last year that rung his bell quite significantly. You've been in these cars enough that you've likely had them as well. But in terms of repairs, are these salvageable when they do go through those big wrecks, or are they like complete rebuilds?
Yes, most of the time they are salvageable. So you witnessed the wreck from Carter there. 2 weeks after that, we had the frame completely rebuilt. That was actually the exact same car. So he went out there and won the championship with the exact same car, just a fresh front clip on the front of it.
Spectacular. And if people want to get involved in this division, first off, Mike, you raced it enough that you're the perfect example of somebody who has had so much success racing these cars, but just racing in general. Honestly, I've seen you out racing in the BT cars at Delaware Speedway, and had success there. Racing the cars out at Grand Bend. It is a class, like you said, that's going to expand this year. Can always have more. Would you be the person to contact about joining the class?
Oh, 100%. Like I said, we're gonna have 3 of our own cars for the next year. So by any means, anyone contact me, Facebook. Other means you can get a hold of Carter, you can get a hold of Cam himself, and he'll send you my info. Just whatever you guys need to know, just give me a shout and we'll get you interested.
Well, you know what, Mike? I'm so glad we got to finally have you on the show and chat for a little bit. And I know it's always chasing to try and find people at the right times, but I appreciate that we were able to get you on. And I want to make sure that you have an amazing holiday season, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
I appreciate you giving me a shout out today, and same to you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff.
Thank you very much, Mike. That is our friend Mike Beneteau. You catch him out this year at Grand Bend in the 9 horsepower sprint division. Somebody else we'd be lucky actually to have on here because I believe he's been traveling and he's been a busy man because he's out doing some more racing. He's RC racing. Very much, Mike. That is our friend Mike Beneteau. Catch him out this year. I have a little bit of an echo there, so there we go. John Baker Jr. is here with me tonight. your 2025 Gen 3 Sports Mod champion. Sounds pretty good, John, that you were able to go out there and take a championship once again. But this one you had to work a lot harder for. It seemed like this was the year of surprises in this division.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of fun. We even had to sit one night and watch everybody else go race when we broke our motor. That was quite frustrating, but with the help of my friends and family, we got her back together and got going at it and kept putting down good finishes. I mean, I love winning. I'd love to win every race I enter. That doesn't always work that well, but we had lots of good finishes and it was a lot of fun. So it's nice to come back.
This was a bit of an experiment this year where you guys kind of having these new body styles on these cars. They look phenomenal. I'll say that right now. I really do prefer them. I think they look fantastic. Did that change anything about how these cars perform?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really,
yeah. Oh yeah. That, yes. I was pretty much dead against it at the beginning. When this all went down a year ago and they decided this was the plan for this year, I was against it. And then I priced out my options, and the Gen 3 Sports Mod, or what was on OMRS, definitely is the most viable option for someone who wants to go race and have some fun on a more economy budget. And my only option was to put fenders on it and obviously change the whole body. And in the end, it cost way less than I thought it was going to. It was a lot of fun. The rules for the body package are so simple, they're almost difficult, if that makes any sense. Rick did a great job of sorting them out to kind of get rid of all the tricks and bits and bumps that everybody can do, and just basically hook the stuff on and come out and have some fun. And then tuning wise, definitely a whole nother animal. I got to lay a whole huge thank you and a big hug to J.R. Fitzpatrick. I phoned him looking for some advice, and he was more than willing to give it and pointed me in a good direction. So thanks to him and his family for their help for turning our season around for us.
It definitely worked out for you. Jaslyn says the new and improved is amazing for the OMRS. I definitely agree. I think you had Chad Strawn come in, Brad Stevenson come in, Glenn Morris come in. You already had Ethan Thompson, Garrett Yates came in as well. It seems like momentum is growing in this division, and that's exciting for you guys. I got to witness my very first OMRS race, or Gen 3 Sport Mods race last year, and I was actually blown away. I have never seen you guys before, but it was a lot of fun. Brad Stevenson actually got his first win that night. So unfortunately I didn't get to see a JBJ Classic, but I did get to see a fantastic racing that entire night. It looks like this series, man, is just so much fun to compete in, and you've got some really, really great competitors.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tight. It's fun. Like I said, it's an older style, suspension kind of car. They got good motor rules and good brake rules and tires that are amazing. My tires I raced on the entire year this year, and
wow.
I'll buy. Well, people hate the recap. There's a hater for everything. You give people free chocolate milk, and they're going to whine about that too. So you put the recaps on the car. They take about 80 or 100 laps to turn into a decent tire, and then after that, you just race the heck out of them. And I don't know where anybody else is sitting on tires. I will order more for next year, but whether we put them on at the start of the year or not, because our staggers are nice and the car was fun to drive the last night, and just wasn't quite fast enough, but it was pretty good. And we'll go from there.
You guys are normally what we see at Peterborough class. You've gone out and ventured to Flamborough Speedway on this year as well. Are there possibilities that we would ever see the Gen 3 Sports Mods go to, say, a Sauble, go to a Varney, go to, I don't know about Grand Bend, that might be a little difficult, but maybe a Delaware as well?
So in the past years gone by, the OMRS club has had dates at both those tracks as well as Flamborough, but I'm not sure. That's not a part of me. I'm a driver guy, so that's up to Rick and the tracks to sort that stuff out for us.
Would you welcome it? Would you like to go and race at those tracks?
I've been to both those tracks and raced at both and had fun at both of them. So if it were to happen, we would do it. We would attend.
You guys got to be a part of what was, I thought, one of the coolest things was that you guys were also part of the super late model event that you, and I think it was just you and Brad maybe that were a part of it. Yeah. That was wicked. I never thought I'd be able to see it. It was almost like an interdivisional event that you had two different divisions racing, yet you guys were technically part of the super lates. How did that whole deal come about?
So for me, I had talked, I talked to some pastors in the end and had said I was having problems with my car, and JR said he was willing to give me a little bit of hands-on help if I wanted, and it worked out with the help of JR for some tires. We went down there, went to Peterborough, my home track. We went there and raced, participated with them, and that was a blast. And yeah, we're down on horsepower and blah, 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 but excellent learning tool. It was really nice to go out and run the car. And I was really nervous to go out in the beginning with starting on pole. Getting a race against Pastor was definitely on my bucket list. So I didn't want to drop to the back. I wanted to start there. So I went and talked to him, and I talked to Dwayne right before we went out and asked them, said, listen, you guys are way better and in it to win it. And I'm out here trying. So what's your thoughts? And both guys said, listen, we're just stay in your lane, do what you normally do, and we're going to be fine. So I appreciate them having a vote of confidence for me, and getting to turn laps with those guys that close was just awesome. I was pretty excited when I come off the track, and though the rest of the evening was great for us as well. We'd only planned on running 25 laps in the feature just to do a mock feature event for our series, what we normally do. So I did my 25 and pulled off, and a great night, good learning night, and it was neat to see and fun to be on the track with those guys.
Well, I know that there is a lot of these cars available. It seems like a lot of these modified cars that are available. As you said, it's a very economy driven division. It is helping racers be able to get out there and compete. You obviously get to share the track with a lot of great racers, but also some young guns, like we mentioned, Gary Aiken, Ethan Thompson, being a part of your division. I've got to put it out there. Callie Dearmer is coming to this division in 2026. I am really excited to see what she has to go against you guys. Because honestly, I think more and more names coming into this division is what we want to see. Just talking a couple of words, John, about what is so fun and what's so great about the Gen 3 Sport mods, because man, I'll tell you, as a fan experience, it's fantastic. But I want to know from a driver's side, what has been the attraction for all these years?
So originally I switched over to the modified part because I want to do the open wheel thing, give that a shot. And that was a lot of fun. And I just couldn't, the series that I was trying to participate in, I'd spent way more money than I wanted to in the year that I participated with that series. So I went to the OMRS because they were running on a recap tire, and we had to back the car up a bunch the next year, change the brakes back and back it up a little teeny bit to be 100% in line with the OMRS rules for the next season. And it just seems to work. It's more economy stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's the maintenance is a little bit less, and everybody's all like, everyone is as friendly as you think they are. There's a big thing where people think Chad and I don't get along. That's absolutely not true. Before Autumn's Colors was over, I went over and put a 63 on their tent assembly out in the parking lot. So I had my number on there too. And somebody kept changing it. They were changing it back because they wanted to show that they're all in fun too. So the camaraderie is good. The drivers' meetings are nice. Everybody stands there and talks to each other. There's no hating and hurting going on. It's somebody breaks something, everybody tries to figure out how to get them back out. We're low on cars, and I mean, I would say that the attitude will still be the same if we have 20 cars, which I would love. But everybody just wants to put on a show and go racing. It's mostly about actually having fun, which we were meant to do. This to start was supposed to always be fun.
If there was anything better to sell right there, it's John Baker Jr., guys. The guy has got fans for days. And we're going over to the races at Peterborough Speedway, and you look in the crowd and you see the Baker Army just hanging out there. I remember you in a 63 mini stock, if I'm not mistaken. It was in my program. I still remember it from when I went to CASCAR races years ago. Seeing the John Baker Jr. 63 cars. So it's awesome to see you back, still out there, still winning races and championships. And we'll definitely have you on the show and chat with you again some more in the off season. And hopefully your RC race went well.
Oh yeah, it didn't go as good as it could have. I podiumed in a couple, but it was still a good day. All my buddies sold me out. They all got issues why they couldn't make it. So I drove 5.5 hours to get there in the snow myself, and only 4.5 hours coming home. We got home really early this morning, but
only 4.5.
It was not a bad run. It was a lot of fun, but definitely it's neat. The RC car thing as well is also neat. Got Jeremy's kids coming out playing that stuff too. So having Ethan and William there to kind of mentor, however you want to call it, those kids that's a blast too. And I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff without Cheryl. I got to make sure I mention Cheryl out here. So thanks, Cheryl, honey. And thanks to all my sponsors and all my family and everybody that supports me. I got it good. I know I got it good, and I'm very appreciative of where I'm at, and look forward to watching my heroes that still race and race against them, and maybe we'll try and do some Oscar stuff again next year, and just really neat to share the track with a bunch of those guys. That was definitely check some stuff off the bucket list. So.
Well, I got to check something off the bucket list too. I got to have the legend himself, John Baker Jr., here on the show. Brendan Feeney can finally stop asking because we got it done, and I'm very appreciative. I know Feeney just wants to get out there and race with you too, John. It's awesome that we got to have you on the show, and I want to wish you the best holiday season, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Enjoy your show.
That is John Baker Jr. here on the show from the Gen 3 Sport Mods. And I know plenty of you guys were waiting on this one because he has been one of the busiest guys and has been releasing news. Geez, I don't even know how much news he's got per week, but he always comes out with more. He released the big news today. A couple actually big news bulletins today. That was nice of him to make Monday. I don't know, Kevin, if you plan to make Mondays a little more exciting for everybody by releasing news, but I'm just going to say thank you because that gives me stuff to talk about on the show. We'll start with the latest kind of news that you did break about the Gold Rush coming back once again in 2026. It's going to be Tuesday, June 30th at 7 p.m., 126 laps for the Outlaw Super Lates, the JRS Auctions Super Lates, the Oscar Super Lates, we'll say that, and then the Pure Stock Special is also back this year.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot this off season. It's been busy. I know a lot of racers wait till early in the new year to get stuff done, but trying to organize, all the traveling series and everything, it's a bit of a challenge. I'm really trying to help John to kind of get on this stuff a little bit earlier. And yeah, we went back and forth with the super late model deal with the Gold Rush. We really tried to make something happen with the Reveal the Hammer series.
Yeah.
That was going to be the plan, and logistics wise, it just didn't work for this year. We're not going to say no. We're going to try something again next year, but we were going to try to move it to a Saturday to open up a date so that it could be kind of like a points race for both series. So the now Oscar super late models plus the Reveal the Hammer super late model. So we're going to try to make it a one big show. And logistics wise, it just didn't work. So we kind of had to pivot. And when we looked at the calendar, I talked with Dave Gameforth, and we kind of came up with June 30th because the next day is Canada Day. So we have a day off. So we have a holiday. In that sense, that's why we kind of moved it up from the August long weekend to the July long weekend, just because, we want to try to get some guys to come down from Sault Ste. Marie that weren't able to come down the previous times because it's hard to make a Tuesday night deal work. But moving it to Canada Day, hopefully they have jobs where they're able to have the holiday off the next day and that they can, are able to drive down on the Tuesday, just take the Tuesday off, and then they can drive home on the Wednesday morning. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do with it. So it's back. It's on the Tuesday. We've kept it the same. We've really kind of started to build something the last number of years here with the Gold Rush on the Tuesday night, especially. And, I talked with my race director, Tim Norris, and we've talked quite a bit this off season. And I said, he's like, well, Kevin, what do they say? He says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're going to keep it on a Tuesday. So yeah, that was the big news. We just wanted to kind of get that out there today. So the Gold Rush is back with the Pure Stocks because we were kind of flirting around with some ideas about some different divisions, but we're going to keep it on Tuesday night. The Gold Rush for the Super Lates and the Pure Stock Special as well. So I'm excited about that one. That one has been a pretty big number. We're working on some big purse as well for that one as well. We've already started reaching out to some sponsorship deals to try to make something bigger and better than we had it last year. So hopefully we can get a lot of cars and we get a lot of fans. That's kind of what we're hoping for.
Well, I can tell you that you played to my heartstrings a lot because you may have been listening to what my loves are because you're bringing in the National Compact Touring series presented by Rev X. I had to make sure I got the name right. To August 1st. Now let's talk a little bit about this deal. This is a U.S. division that is coming up to race as a part. This is would be considered a mini stock division if I'm not mistaken. I know we've already been talking. There's been lots of talk in the chat. on that page and on that post about whether the local racers are going to be able to be a part of that. So let's hear about this deal and how it came together.
Yeah, this one was a while in the making. I talked to Drew. This is going back first week of September.
Okay.
So this has been a few months in the making to finally get this to happen. And initially, with the deal with we were trying to get the Reveal the Hammer and the series to come up, kind of to both of them kind of travel up at the same time. Well, when the Reveal the Hammer stuff kind of fell apart, I said, "Hey, Drew, are your guys still interested?" And they had kind of, if you actually go look on their Facebook page, they put a couple teasers out there a few times. If you look back, they talked about maple syrup in one of them and poutine.
I did see the maple syrup post.
Yeah. So they threw some teasers out there, and I said, "Hey, do you guys still want to go ahead with this, even if we don't have the super late models?" And they said, "Yeah, we're on board. I've already talked to a bunch of the teams. They want to come out." So I said, "Okay, now I just got to get approval from the big man." And it's taken a while to do that. But yeah, we're going to do the August long weekend. I know they got the APC stuff's going on up at Sauble Beach. We're going to try to do something a little bit different, bring in this US Touring Series. The rule package is a little bit different, so we still have to kind of work out exactly what that's going to look like. But those guys have averaged about close to 30 cars for every race that they've had. They had 82 of them at Owasso for the final race of the season. So there's a ton of them out there. The interest has been huge. And even today, once I emailed Drew and said, "Yep," what happened was I called John this morning. I said, "Listen, you need to tell me what we're doing because I need to let these guys know now." And he says, "I'm leaving it up to you." I said, "Oh, perfect. I'm emailing them right now. We're done. We're going." So if it flops, then we may be looking for an announcer at Flamborough Speedway because I will no longer have a job. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's different, and that's what we're really trying to do this year. We're trying to bring in some different stuff, which we'll probably talk about next. The big news that we dropped a little bit ago. But yeah, we're trying to do something a little bit different. And these guys have never raced outside of the US. And so to kind of have the first time in Canada be at our track is kind of special. I'm excited about it. We're still working out all the kinks, but the August long weekend, we're also, it's a little teaser. We're trying to make that a concert night too. So we're going to have a couple local bands come in. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't want to, if you want to come out and hang out for the weekend, it's going to be a good spot to come.
Obviously, you guys have some big memorial nights taking place. Not really that we want to add a name, unfortunately, to memorial nights. But again, I like that you guys are going to do this with Oscar in one big night. As it's scheduled right now, May 23rd for Memorial Night with the Oscar, Hot Rods Mods, and the Super Lates for Don Biederman, Brian McLean, and Bill Zardo. Very, very massive event with Oscar that you guys have on the 23rd of May.
Yeah, that one we kind of had to put together once Dave had kind of brought the Super Lates back on. I said, okay, rather than having the Biederman and the Zardo Memorial on a different date, let's make it one date. And he said, "Yep, let's do that." And then, unfortunately, my uncle passed away, Brian McLean, a couple weeks ago. Tough news. And so I talked with my cousin Brent and the family, I said, "Hey, Full Throttle, Varney was their home track and still is." And they were talking about doing a memorial for Brian. And Brian and I, a lot of the times it was just Brian. I was the spotter for Brian. We ran, all over the place. And so I mentioned it to Dave. I said, "I'm going to talk with the family and see if we can maybe make something happen at Flamborough." It'd kind of be special for me because I get to call, the memorial race. And Dave said, "Hey, whatever you guys want to do, make it happen." And I talked with my cousin Brent and Aaron, and they said, "Hey, let's put it at Flamborough and let's have some fun." Brian's last win with the Oscar Modifieds came at Flamborough. That was a crazy night because we ran 1-2 with Brian and Brent the whole race. Brent broke, so we all kind of went to thrash on Brent's car to fix it. Brian was in victory lane by himself, and he comes back to pitch. "You guys never came out to get the trophy and pictures." So that was there's lots of memories, but being able to bring the Memorial to Flamborough Speedway is kind of a special night. And to have all three with Brian's, with the Zardo and the Biederman, we're going to make it a big event, kind of a Memorial Day or Memorial race night before our Memorial race night in September. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a sad. It's never a good thing to have a memorial race, but I'm excited to call the race. And it's gonna be a good night. There's probably gonna be some tears shed, but it will be a good night, and the racing will be really, really good. I know it's gonna be a little bit earlier in the season, but we got some big shows coming up early in the season to kind of kick off 2026. So yeah, I'm really excited about that race for sure. It's one we've kind of been putting together the last couple weeks, and we're gonna get some lap sponsors and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a special night, that's for sure.
One of the things that you've done this year is I feel like you listened to me, even though I don't talk that much, I don't blab to you that much, but 3 races for the Ontario Sportsman Series at Flamborough Speedway, my friend. This is, for those that don't know, the OSS, despite having a couple of seasons where we did not have racing at Flamborough Speedway, or we only had one event, that's actually a rarity. There is a lot of history. In fact, there was a season where 6 races took place, I believe, of 7 in the schedule at Flamborough Speedway. You guys have got 3 on the card this year. I don't know the ending. They haven't announced the full kind of deal yet. I know they typically do it. They normally do a triple track challenge. There's 3 events, so I would think that's a pretty good bet. But you guys have a back-to-back weekend on August 22nd and then September 5th. And I don't know the last time we've seen that for OSS. That's really exciting.
Yeah, we talked with Mauricio and his team a few times. I kind of left this one up to John because Mauricio likes to talk on the phone. So I said, "Okay,
Yes, he
John,
does.
that's all you, my friend," because I am more email, Facebook, so I
Yep.
kind of have a trail of what's going on.
You're
So
very good.
I left that one to John, and initially we had two races, and we're trying to, we got a lot going on with the whole schedule with everything, but initially we had 2, and then I'm getting ready to do something, and then John says, "Hey, I just got off the phone. We're gonna have a 3rd sportsman race on the 5th of September." I said, "Okay, we'll make it happen." So yeah, we're excited. Last year's race was really good. It got a lot of people excited about it, so I'm happy to have them back for not just one time, but now we get to have them for 3 times. So it's going to be a lot of fun. They put on good shows. We're trying to there's for the first night, the June 13th, I'm trying to work something out to kind of bring a class back that is a bit of a throwback to Flamborough Speedway. They currently run full-time, well, not full-time, but a good chunk of the time up north right now. And we are making some things happen to make that happen. So I can't fully disclose it yet, but
Okay.
there's going to be it's not going to be the hot rods, but it's going to be an older school body looking class.
Okay, I like where this is headed.
So it's gonna be fun. So we're trying to pair that with the Sportsman for the first night, kind of get that more of a vintage kind of feel back to Flamborough Speedway.
If it's the pair that I'm thinking of, it was a good pair before. So we'll say it. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think you just had you're talking about the Velocity weekend with
Yes,
them. Yeah. So I'm not going to say names, but yeah, we're working
That would be
on things.
phenomenal, actually.
So
I think that's a great,
it's
great idea.
Yeah, and I
Really
think
good
we're gonna
idea.
have I think we're gonna have the Soma modifieds there too that night.
Awesome.
So it's gonna be a good show, that's for sure. But yeah, 3 times for the Sportsman. It's gonna be a lot of fun. They put on a good show, and we're excited to have them. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
The biggest news that you guys did drop was ISMA is coming to Flamborough Speedway, and I'll tell you, not a lot of people expected this at all. You kind of snuck in there, Kev. Like, you guys have been making these really sneaky moves, and I dig it, honestly. I think this is the type of shit that we want to see from tracks. We want to see this unique and creative kind of scheduling and really just something to help to alleviate the pure stock racers from being on the card every week. So I know you said you were going to try and help them out this year, and by far you have. ISMA is coming to Flamborough Speedway early in the season. It is on May 16th. I believe it might be the start of their season.
Yep.
Which bodes very well for you guys with getting guys to show up, because they won't have had any issues so far.
Yeah.
So, talk about this one, Cav. This is a huge deal for you guys.
Yeah, this is I I'm pumped. I love the super modifieds. I didn't make it down to Delaware last season, but when they came back to Delaware last year, in my head I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we got them at Flamborough Speedway? They haven't been here for 30 something years. Like, it's been a long time. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I can make this happen. So I, I was trying some other stuff. And then the one division from the States that I was trying to get up, it didn't work. It didn't make sense because it wasn't going to work out cost effectiveness. So
Right.
I said, okay, what's an alternative? And I emailed the team from the ISMA Super Modifieds just kind of on a whim. I said, hey, we're looking, possibly about entertaining a date for the Super Modifieds. Been a track for a long time just north of Hamilton. You guys raced there back in the 80s and 90s a lot. What are your thoughts on coming up? And they said, well, let's talk a little bit further about this. They were just about getting ready to do their North Show shootout at Caraway Speedway. And they said, we'll work on some dates. And they sent us a couple, and they were pretty early because we were kind of late to the game getting this rolling. And I said, okay. I talked with John. I said, can we make the 16th work? And he says, wow, what are they going to charge? And so then I went through the whole thing with them, and it's going to be a lot of work on our end, but we are bringing the super modifieds back. It's going to be a heck of a show. I know that's the APC opening night, so
Yep.
we're going to try to do things a little bit differently that night. And I don't have the full schedule done. Well, I have it done, but I haven't released anything. But
Yeah.
that night, I can tell you, we're going open wheel, everything open wheel that night. So it's going to be ISMA Super Modifieds. They haven't said anything yet, but the TQ midgets probably are going to be on the card, Soma Modifieds and the Vintage Modifieds. So we're going to have 4 classes, all open wheel extravaganza, something like that.
I love this.
It's a little different. I think the last time we talked, I said I want to do some new stuff for
Yes.
2026, and getting this one, the domino, to kind of kick off the season. People are like, whoa, this is big. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work from us in the track. We got to organize push trucks and all that kind of stuff,
Yep.
but it's going to be a lot of work, but we're really excited for it. And I'm excited because I get to call the super modifieds. I mean, how cool is that?
I mean, I said it before. I get to see Johnny Benson driving at Delaware. You see Johnny Benson at. Hopefully he'll be there. But the fact that you'll get to see these cars flying around Flamborough Speedway is just, oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even know if you're able to see them. Honestly, those things fly.
I'm really
Why?
hoping because it's earlier. Like, I'm really hoping we get to the point of the night where we get to see the vapor trails coming off the wing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's nice weather, it's cool, but it's still warm out.
Yeah.
Vapor trails. I heard they might be in the 13-second bracket. Like, this is going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm really excited for how things are shaping up for next year. And, to kick off, we got some really big shows happening really early on in the season. The Super Modifieds are third weekend. The Oscar trios coming the week after that. Then the APC, right? We haven't even talked about APC
Yep.
yet. APC's coming back twice. Some really big shows coming up for 2026, and we're still working on things. We got a couple more things that we're trying to put together. I know a lot of pro late models are asking us what we're doing, because last year we struggled a little bit with pro
Yep.
late models. So we're trying to revamp that package. It's not going to be a 15 race series. It's going to be less than that, but
Good.
we're trying to get some big shows. And you mentioned the pure stocks, giving them a little bit of a break. I'm working on it. I got like 16 to 17 dates set.
That's
so
fantastic.
it's not 22 or 23. It's 16, 17, maybe 18, but you're going to have, 7 weeks off in the middle of the summer, but nothing set in stone yet.
Okay.
But we're making things happen. That's for sure.
Any procedural changes in terms of what the races? It was still double feature nights. Are we going to see the heat races that was kind of teased last year? Still up in the air about what plans are going to be for next year in terms of procedures.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a mix. We're going to try to do things a little bit differently because I like double features, but at the same time, we kind of every now and then we want to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
With less races, it's not going to be as bad because it's not going to be, we're not going to have a strung out series every single week. It's 2 features. We're going to change it up a little bit, but it will be, it's going to be exciting, but we are tweaking some stuff. Not everything's done yet, but John usually doesn't start preparing this stuff until after the banquet, which, I can tell you now because he confirmed with me the banquet for Flamborough Speedway is going to be on February 7th. That's the date for the banquet. I haven't done everything yet for it, but February 7th will be the banquet. We're working on stuff. I'm trying to help John. Tim's trying to help John. We're trying to get this earlier so that we can get cars to want to come because with Sunset, not really happening. A lot of guys are looking for a spot to go, and we're really trying to make it so that we want people to come down. It's hard to stomach 22, 23, 24 weeks to run a full points championship, but hopefully somebody can look at that and say, hey, 16 races or mini stocks. I think I had 14 or 12, something like that. Come down, they can commit to running those 12 to 14 to 16 races, and we can get them for the whole season. That's what I'm really hoping for. Who knows? But that's what we're looking for.
I'm looking forward to this because you have a salesman in yourself, man. You sell, ice to an Eskimo. It is a legit great stuff. And I'll go out there and say, like, for Flamborough, I had not been to races. We'd been to one in the last 3 years, and then last year we went out there for I think 3 or 4 events, including my first ever Frosttoberfest. And I'm telling you guys, ignore kind of when you look at the track and see, stands maybe that aren't as full as other tracks. You have to remember the amount of stands that you guys have. It's quite a lot, and they're quite high. I want to say I have never experienced the infield so entertaining taking video. That track, Flamborough, is by far one of my favorite racetracks to go to. The racing is always top notch. It's so much fun. Yes, it can get a little bit crazy, and I kind of like a little bit of crazy in my racing. So, and of course, the classes. We don't have to talk about all the ones that you guys have, but I like to bring out the Pro Challenge. It's going to increase in car counts this year. Fantastic racing all the time. The CVMs, they're looking promising. Soma mods always have good stuff out there. And then, of course, you've got your weekly classes, and now you've got all these special attractions. So I'm all for it, Kev. I'm excited. Keep announcing some stuff, man, because that keeps us all really, really excited. But the best for the holidays, and we'll definitely have you on before the season starts.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all you guys do, and stay tuned because we're pumping out some stuff at Flamborough Speedway. I still haven't convinced John to release the full schedule yet, but I'm getting close. He with my 17 phone calls every week, he'll get annoyed at some point in time and just say, "Just do it. I don't care."
We'll be on board for that. Thank you, Kev.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
That is Kevin Small, and that will wrap us up for tonight here on ONTrack Weekly. I really want to say thank you to all of our guests tonight: Ryan Kimball, Brad Holmes, Mike Beneteau, John Baker Jr., and of course Kevin Small. Been your host, Cam K, here on G-Force TV. We'll catch you all next week.